The University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill students are standing in solidarity with the award-winning journalist Nikole Hannah-Jones, as her alma mater has been tabling the decision to grant her tenure. Members of UNC's Black Student Movement organized a protest earlier in the day. It was attended by more than 300 students, faculty, and staff. They issued 13 demands to the university, including addressing Hannah-Jones's tenure immediately. Students believe that Nikole Hannah-Jones is more than qualified to receive tenure and would bring, quote, an amazing slew of talent, academia, and racial reckoning to UNC's campus. Joining me now to discuss this is the Vice President of Black Student Movement, Julia Clark. She's a class of 2023 member. Thank you for coming to Black News tonight. Talk to me about what made you all do this action.
Of course. Thank you for having me, Mark. I think it's important to recognize that the denial of Nikole Hannah-Jones's tenure is not an isolated incident. This university system has repeatedly disenfranchised Black faculty, Black academia, and Black students. And Black student movement has always been at the forefront of student activism at our school. So deciding to have a demonstration was not a hard decision, because we knew that when the university once again disenfranchises us, we've always stood up. And so we'll continue to do so. Not only recognizing that this specific injustice was completely wrong and baseless, but also recognizing that this is part of a larger system that is rooted in white supremacy.
The school says that it's diverse, that it's liberal, that it's democratic. In fact, it's a school that prides itself in being those things. What do you say to the institution itself when they identify as that, yet you have a whole bunch of Black folk and brown folk and allies saying, wait a minute, you got problems?
Yeah, I would say, look at the numbers. We have steadily been losing Black faculty and Black students for decades. Not too long ago, we were at 12% for the Black student population. We are now at 8%. Of course, I know you saw the Carolina Black Caucus sent out letters saying that over 60% of the professors are seeking employment elsewhere. What the relationship we have with the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill is one of exploitation, where they place us on diversity flyers. They profit off of us from sports teams and the revenue they gain from that. And of course, they use the academia and the knowledge that Black students and Black faculty bring to this school to reach the acclaim of a public university that we are now. However, they have never once respected us. They have never once created a safe space for us, and they continue to disenfranchise us consistently with little to no remorse.
Wow. So right now, according to my numbers, my reports, the number of faculty of color who are considering leaving is at least 15. The Nikole Hannah-Jones issue has yet to be resolved. A lot of stuff on the table. Do you think your protests are going to be successful?
I think they will, because we won't stop until they are successful. One thing I know this university is scared of is losing money. And one thing we call for at our protests is stopping donations to this university. One thing that we have is a very strong Black alumni network, very strong Black faculty network, and a very strong Black community that will withhold donations and will withhold support for as long as we need to. So yes, I do think it will be successful, because we won't stop until it is.
And what does success look like for you?
Well, I think success looks very different depending on who you talk to. Not only have we presented a list of 13 demands to our chancellor of ways to make our university not only safer for Black students, but also more welcoming, we also presented demands to the Board of Trustees. Success looks like the Board of Trustees meeting before June 30th and granting Nikole Hannah-Jones tenure, which is actually the bare minimum. Success is the chancellor meeting with us, Black Student Movement, accepting our demands, and actually, putting that into action instead of releasing empty statements, saying Happy Juneteenth and Black Lives Matter while doing nothing to help Black students.
Well, you are standing in a long tradition of student organizers and student protesters, and universities will yield. They will concede to your demands if you keep the pressure on. So I wish you luck. I encourage you to stay strong. If there's any way Black News Tonight can be a resource to you, make sure you holler at us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.